our nice little dough ball. And be careful when you're using pecans. Sometimes, and people who are watching this and you're not from Louisiana, we call them pecans down here, not pecans. So if you're using pecans, every now and again you may get a little bit of a shell in there. So you want to keep an eye out for that, because shells are the worst when you bite into them. If you're using fresh pecans, which, you know, really there's no way to go but fresh pecans. I guess I can say that because we have a bakery, so it's kind of easy for me to get away with saying fresh pecans are the only way to go. But to be perfectly honest with you, they are. There's absolutely no substitute. You can't use old pecans. They're going to make your cake taste horrible. So anywho, you want to get some nice pressing going on here. And which I have, oh, I found another teeny tiny little shell in there. Okay. Oh, and let me just tell you about the eggs that I used, just so you know. The eggs I used are from a farm where we get our sweet potatoes. And I tell you, they are the freshest, most tasty, most wonderful eggs you'll ever meet. They are amazing. And I suggest you do that. You get the best products you can afford to get. Now, when you're done pressing everything, your cake bottom should look like this. And this is before baked. Because again, you had a dough ball that you put inside of this pan. So this is not going to run at all. There's no milk in here. You don't have any water in here. You don't have any cooking oil in here or anything like that. The only thing you have in here is butter and whatever texturizing agent, I'll say, that you wanted to use, whether that be pecans or coconut or chocolate chips, whatever. That's the only thing you really have in here other than the cake mix. So you're not going to have a cake that's running across the table. If you do, then you have a major problem. You've done something wrong and you're going to need to rewind and start over again, okay? So your cake really should look like this. And when I'm saying that you're going to bevel in the ends over here in your corners, you just want to put an extra little dent right there in your corners, right here, so that when you put the frosting on top, just make a little nook right there, so that when you pour your frosting on top and it starts to even out, it's going to run down the sides here, and you want it to sort of just fill and hold in that little pocket there. It almost creates your own little barrier, your own little wall for your frosting, so that it doesn't run on the outside of your filling. Okay, so you have that there. We have our frosting here. Nothing fancy. I'm going to use my whipper and I'm just going to pour the frosting right across the top. If your cake is flat and even like it should be, you can just pour this right in the middle, and what's going to happen is it's going to work its way across the cake from side to side. And let me just say, I'm such a baker. Look at that, cake and dough already on my shirt. That's the way you should look though. When you're baking with love, it should look like that. You should look like you're having a ball. You're having a great time. Baking should never be a chore. Never, ever. It's something we should do to make ourselves feel good, to make other people feel good. I'm actually baking this cake for my aunt. So today, we're making time for family. It's her birthday. We're going to her party this weekend. And so I am baking this cake for her. She loves my Ooey Gooey cakes. I turned her on to it. So after my mother turned me on to it, I turned her on to it, my aunt that is. And she loves it. So all I'm going to do is just help this along because it's taking a little bit too long for me to spread across. So I'm just going to help it along easily, gently. I'm actually not even really spreading it. I'm just sort of patting it, touching it with the tops of the whisk because we want it to just sort of move along on its own. Okay, now since the filling is gonna run, I actually can't hold that up and show you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this right here in the center of the table, and I'm going to take a moment, come around, and I'm going to move the camera so that you can see what it looks like. So hang on, we'll be right back. Okay, so you're just gonna get a glimpse of my hands here, but your cake really should look like this. Now, what I would suggest is if it's not looking like this, if you haven't poured your frosting on top yet, or if you're getting ready to pour your frosting on top, I would suggest you get on that, because what you don't want is you don't want your filling and your dough ball basically to start getting hard. So you want to go ahead and get that filling done and then get it on top. Now we're going to go ahead and move this to our oven, which we were already preheating at what? That's right, 350 degrees. And you all heard the ding as I started this tape. So we're gonna go ahead, put this in the oven, and we're gonna put it in the oven for roughly 40 to 50 minutes. It takes a little while to bake this cake. Alrighty, so let's get that done. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put our cake in the oven. You're looking at a view of my oven. Okay, so now we're putting our cake in the oven. Once again, it's at 350 degrees. I'm gonna put it on the top rack. I like top rack cooking. I'm gonna leave it in here for roughly 40 to 50 minutes. So right now, I'm going to set my timer at 45 minutes. Right in between, I'm going to come back and I'm going to check it. It should be just about done at that time. So I'll see you then. Okay, so as you can see, our cake is in the oven. It's going to take roughly 40 to 50 minutes for it to bake. It depends on the oven you have. Now, there are a lot of ovens that will say that they're at 350 degrees, but you know what? My oven at 350 degrees is not the same as your oven at 350 degrees. So I would suggest coming in at about 20 minutes to take a look at your cake and see where it's at. And I'll do that on camera for you today. And then also setting your timer. If you have an egg timer, set that. If you have a timer on your oven, you need to set that. I like to set my timer for 45 minutes. Okay, so we're at about 20 minutes in with our baking on our delicious pecan ooey gooey cake. And I just want to show you what it should look like when you're about halfway through. This cake takes a little while to bake, so don't be surprised that it doesn't look very done. Take a look at that. As you can see, you're starting to get some nice little edges built up here along the sides. It's starting to brown right down here in the creases along the sides there. So this cake is going to turn out to be absolutely delicious. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to gently push it back in. We don't want to shake it too much. We're going to push it right back in there. And we want to give it another, I would say 20 to 25 minutes when it looks like this, okay? Hi, we're back. I'm going to pull out my ooey gooey cake. It has been in for 50 minutes. So it should be perfectly ready to go. Ah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Look at how brown that is on top. That's a nice even crust, nice even consistency all over the top. It is nice and soft and moist, and I can't wait for us to cut into it. It's going to be absolutely delicious. I'm going to go ahead and set that up there for just a moment. Hi, so here we have our wonderfully delicious ooey gooey cake. As you can see, it's nice golden brown on top, just the color it should be. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to give it about 15 to 20 minutes to cool. Once it's done cooling, I'm going to go ahead and have a little square of it, just a teeny tiny little square. I have to make sure my product tastes good before I give it to anybody else. So give me 15 to 20 minutes to let this cool down, and I'll meet you right back here. Thanks. See you soon. Okay, welcome back. It is time for us to cut into our Ooey Gooey Cake. I'm super excited. Love being super excited. So we're going to just go ahead in there. I'm going to cut a small, and I do mean super small square right here out of the corner. I love the corner of this cake. And I want to show you what that looks like in the inside there. I'm going to come in really close because I really want you to see what's happening here. Do you see this? This thing is delicious. Look at that. That's all of that cake with the delicious pecans in it. That right there, you're looking at all of our cream cheese filling with all of our powdered sugar. Has a nice brown consistency on top. Our good edge, good edges here. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna have a good taste of this cake right now. I'm gonna enjoy it, and I want you to do the same. Until next time, cheers, and thank you for watching Making Time with Candy Meredith. Oh my God. That is so good. If I must say so myself, that is super duper delicious.